How you think is how you feel, and how you think and feel determines your experience of life, and it's your experience of life that creates your reality. Now, the good news is that life doesn't control your experience, and your circumstances do not determine your thoughts and feelings. Only you do. Now, it doesn't always seem that way based on what we were taught, and certainly not based on what social media and our modern day culture would have us believe. But ultimately, you can always choose how you respond to what's happening in your life. So why is it then that we can find ourselves feeling unmotivated, uninspired, and depressed? It really all comes down to awareness. Because it's by ruminating on negative thoughts and feelings that then creates the experience that everything in life is not really working out, that things are going wrong, that things should be different or better than they are. And it's by looking at life through that lens that creates the reality that I must be wrong. I must be no good. This creates a sort of negative spiral, which seems to trap us in an unconscious pattern, which is why awareness is key. Because a lot of people would recommend that you just need to think positively, feel good. But you see, it's not addressing the underlying identity or reality that we're assuming about ourselves in relationship to life. We must first become aware of how we are viewing ourselves, how we are viewing our circumstances, the filter that we're applying to our experience. It can seem difficult to do this because it's become such a habit, because we've repeated over and over again the same response to circumstances, and therefore we've practiced a certain state of being, a certain reaction. But with a desire to understand and with an intention to break through, we can slow down enough to see where it's all coming from to begin with, the cause of our experience, and therefore the source of our reality. So while positive thinking, willpower, and discipline can be useful tools in uplifting your experience and changing your reality, they're only one small piece of the puzzle, because it's really about becoming aware of why it's all happening to begin with. And through that understanding, we reclaim the power of being the creator of all of it. So as difficult as it may be to hear, our life situation and our circumstances do not justify our depression. Instead, these heavy thoughts and feelings only continue to perpetuate that experience. It's our own willingness to slow down and bring a conscious awareness to our habitual responses to our circumstances that actually frees us from the unconscious repetition of creating the experience that we don't prefer. We liberate ourselves from that loop of negative thinking and feeling towards what's happening in life by taking responsibility for being at the source of creating it. By taking ownership, we can now consciously work with our experience, and we can accept ourselves for having responded the way that we did, and for creating the experience that we created. And this is another key, because our self-criticism and judgments fuel this negative thinking and feeling, which further traps us into this loop of heaviness, feeling uninspired, unmotivated, depressed, and feeling like there's no way out. So compassion towards yourself goes a long way in this process. It's a fundamental part to breaking out of those patterns which contain us. And love really is the ultimate solvent that will loosen you up and liberate you into a higher state of being, into a greater sense of yourself. And in that expansion, you will recognize the possibilities. You will recognize the opportunities to respond in the way that you'd prefer, therefore changing your experience of life and ultimately recreating your reality to be what you want it to be. But it all starts with how you think and feel and making that a conscious choice.